Introduce yourself.
Sure, I can do that. Josh Blalock, everyone. Microsoft MVP for the MVP site, 10 years, but I think it's 9. I think something's wrong with their site. I'm going to have to go back and check on that. It's been a lot of years, whatever the case is. And I am at Shure as our Director of Collaboration Ecosystem and Engagement, which is a very long mouthful, but it's, entails things like staying engaged with the community programs, creating content, all that good stuff from the brand perspective on the Shure side. So that's the day job and the community involvement. Also, one of the co-organizers for a little event a lot of you might have heard of, CommsV Next. And looking forward to seeing people there in a couple of months' time. Gosh, we're only less than 2 months away. That's scary. All right.
All right. So what's the new hotness at Shure?
Yeah, so the Bar Pro, right? The IntelliMix Bar Pro, kind of see it on the screen there behind me. And that's Shure's first foray into video at all, right? Last year, Shure came out with a suite of Windows-based solutions, the Room Kits. We partnered with Hudley on that, though, for the cameras. And this year, we kind of got into, not kind of, with very meaningfully got into the Android space, an MDEP bar, as is becoming very standard in a lot of situations these days. And it's the IntelliMix Bar Pro, kind of following in the footsteps of the IntelliMix Room Kits with the onboard DSP software and all the cool stuff that does. But again, our first product with actual camera software and cameras that we built and put into place. So that's the newness. That's the extension of the portfolio, and happy to jump into. I don't want to get too pitchy on it, but I love talking about it, so I'm happy to dive into different angles about it.
I'll ask one more softball question, then everybody can chat and hit the hardball ones. So the new Android bar, boy, it has a lot of ports. What's the thinking there? Is it a router? Is it a network switch? What do I do with all those?
So you think that's a softball question, but that's actually a very loaded question. And it's so if you flip that thing around and look at the back, right, there are a series of Ethernet ports back there, and they're very forward, future-facing ports and capabilities. At launch, the bar should be supporting the MXA 902, the ceiling microspeak combo. That our partners are very familiar with as well. They use that in a lot of their solutions. And so that will be, for starters, an extension capability for the IntelliMix Bar Pro. Plugs right into one of those Ethernet ports, and it auto mixes per the onboard DSP. You don't got to do any configuration there, and then it's ready to rock, right? In a room that, keep in mind, the IntelliMix Bar Pro is targeted towards large rooms. So if you're extending audio, it's because it's an extra large, extra complex, different space. Maybe it's for a boardroom where you got one of your quiet talker, C-level people at the back of the room and you need to pick them up a little better. But that's what that's for, right? It's for future expansion opportunities, 1 or 2 opportunities at launch. And if anyone is familiar with Shure's portfolio, there's a lot of speakers, mics that can be extended throughout the portfolio, and we will probably get to more of those as time goes on. But to start, it's going to be limited to that 902 and perhaps one other right out the gate. But thanks for the softball question there, Mike.
Graham's going to come in with a high heat now.
A follow-up then. I guess those ports are powered then to power the ceiling tile, the 902? The Ethernet ports, are they powered?
You can be able to deliver power through them. Because as you look at the back of a 902, right, it's got one Ethernet port in it, so that would be coming back and powering that way. Yeah. Now again, it's very future facing when it comes to the ports. People can get very creative with what they plug into an Ethernet port, and at launch, it is intended for an extension and maybe more to come in the future.
And not your access points for the room and stuff.
Yeah, right. It can go all kinds of haywire if you start getting too creative. Chris, what's up, man?
Hey, Josh, how's it going? Good, thank you. Question, also loaded. What's it like having 500 of them? How do I look after them?
500 of the IntelliMix Bar Pros.
Mm-hmm.
Not speakers coming off of the
No.
Okay.
Like if I've got like 500 rooms or 400, an enterprise full of rooms with this thing in it, how do I care?
So I mean, just like with any other certified device, which this is the first public forum I get to say, the bar just achieved certification and is now listed out there publicly. So that's awesome. Team certified. So obviously, if you're a team shop, then you would be probably managing a lot of that through the Teams Pro portal. But it is also manageable through Shure's own cloud. Shure Cloud for its, all the other places the customers are already used to managing a whole bunch of our devices, whether it's standalone mics and speakers and settings or the IntelliMix room kits or whatever it is. The Bar Pro can be managed there too, right, for updates and other configuration capabilities. So a couple different options. It all depends. If you're a widespread Shure shop and you want to add this into managing through that portal, then you can. But for those that are like, hey, we're trying to standardize and keep things simple with the rest of our device strategy, and we're a team shop, then the Teams Pro portal is where it's at. So
are there going to be things that I have to use one or the other to do? And I think go with my DSP head on, right? There's all kinds of cool stuff you guys can do with the bar and tuning and all that kind of thing. Is that going to that's obviously going to require
So you would need to go through, for some things you'll need to go through if you're going to get into that level of management, right? You're not looking for just doing plug and play. You want to go and start doing some fine tuning and tweaking beyond just updates in the Pro Portal or the regular settings that Pro Portal does for all certified devices. Then you would go through Shure Cloud for some of that more fine tuning. I'll be honest, I've been on the job almost 8 months now. We have a few other tools that I know we can manage and do things with that I'm still getting used to and familiar with. But yeah, the Shure Cloud is going to be that main place to do some of the little tricks and tweaks that you don't do, just like any of the other partners out there that got their own clouds that do a few extra special things beyond the Pro Portal. So
cool. Thank you.
Yeah,
I don't know if you
more like the device management versus application management. Hack and PNP is basically application management, whereas the OEM portals are more the hardware device sort of settings.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
And Josh, I don't know if you saw in chat, Tom asked, so the Shure platform, what can you tell us about that? Is there a free tier? Is it all paid? Is there partner channels, partner portals? Kind of like how tell us a little about the Shure Cloud.
Shure Cloud, and I will tell you a little bit, and only a little bit, because I'm not quite a super pro there yet. But yeah, Shure Cloud is free, right? There isn't a paid tier to that. I mean, at this stage, I know everyone in this space is looking for opportunities to figure out how they can break into paid tiers for that. But at this time, it's a fully free platform, and it does have hooks into it on the management side, so that other partners can build or layer on top of that, right? A lot of integrators out there, especially, are looking to do value-added services in different ways. They've got their own services they offer for managing devices. The Shure Cloud is very accessible via APIs in that regard. So it is probably surfaced on a number of other third-party platforms, or will be in the near future on some of those platforms. So that's kind of more invisible to the end customer, because they're working with a partner directly, and then they're actually getting access to some of that Shure management under the hood through that. But yeah, completely free platform at this stage. Everything that you can do in there, it's not gated in any kind of way. If your organization has it, you've got it all. So I know some other Shure products, there are some licensing considerations as far as what you can do, how much of a certain thing you can manage through certain devices, but that's kind of a separate topic from accessing Shure Cloud. Yeah.
All right, dumb question alert. So let's say I've got the IntelliMix bar and I add a 902 to it, or 2 or 3, whatever many. Are they licensed to be running on the Bar Pro, or you just plug them in and they all work and extend the audio coverage?
Yeah, there's no licensing mechanism to gate that being plugged into the bar. Once they're in there, there's four 4 Ethernet ports in the back available for that extensibility function. I can't imagine, honestly. This is why I say very future facing, because again, the bar is meant for a large room by definition, right? It's meant to your properly defined large rooms per Microsoft terms. It's certified for that range by itself. So if you're adding any extensibility to it, you've already got a pretty large space. That's just extending it by one device. Someone adding 4 in there, I mean, yeah, that would be quite the interesting room to see.
Bad acoustics.
Yeah, really bad acoustics in the area. But even like a room like that, right? You're typically, when it gets to be that big where you need that much coverage, you don't really see a lot of front of room video collaboration bars in those spaces. So it is, I think the possibilities for what can be done are quite future facing when it comes to those ports. But I will touch on real quick.
Could you talk about the optics? Interesting. Your camera placement is quite different to everybody else in play.
That's exactly what I was about to just jump into as a little placeholder for a conversation. But that's the big difference there. And everyone's like, okay, a new bar on the market, what's different? Because there's a lot of bars on the market, of course. And so when it comes to the IntelliMix Bar Pro, what's different about it when you first look at it, the first thing you see is a lot of bars have multiple cameras, but the IntelliMix Bar Pro has 4, and they're not all together in the center of the bar as you would expect from most other form factors you've seen. You have 2 cameras at the center there, one wide angle and one telephoto right in the center, but then the other 2 cameras are moved all the way out to the edges of that bar. And the idea there is that Shure is trying to solve for the awkward camera placement when you get those longer rooms. Let's say you got a long boardroom table, right? You go to a mode like active speaker. In a lot of cases, you see an active speaker frame and you look down there and yes, you're focused in on the person's face, but usually because it's a long table and the positioning of the camera in the middle, you're going to end up still having a quarter of Sam's face in that shot, right? I've got Tom squarely there, but then Mike, I get a corner of Michael's glasses are like right in the corner of the shot, and it's visually distracting. It's a artifact visually that's in the shot that should be only focused on Tom, but there's no real good way with a single camera position at the front of room to get a nice clean shot of just Tom's face. So by putting the 2 cameras at the edges like that on board, the software can intelligently decide, hey, actually my best shot of Tom is by the camera off to the left. This lets me get that cross table shot. Now I don't have anything in the way. It's a non-distracting view of Tom's face at that point. So that's kind of why it's designed that way, why the angles are positioned the way they are. And it does track, right? So if Tom gets up and starts walking around the room, it'll continue to follow him. And then at some point, he's not going to be in the most ideal spot for that camera that was tracking him. So it'll then cut over to the next camera that can see him best and continue to follow him there. So that's the design. The 3 cameras are telephoto. The one is wide angle. And by doing so, they get a collective field of view of 135 degrees horizontally, which when you think about, again, a large room, that's a pretty generous field of view for a large space. And it lets you just continue to decide based on where the person's at in the room and what's going on, which angle is best. Is it this side of the camera, that side of the camera, or is straight down the middle going to serve me well? So that's kind of the design there. And there's, of course, everybody gets their own individual square mode that most partners in this space have. Shure's the IntelliMix Bar Pro supports up to 4 of those individual spots for people getting their own frame. So that is one of those key differences when you're like, okay, what makes it stand out? What's different? That's kind of the big difference.
Got some video people in-house, haven't you? Because obviously originally Shure for audio, but like there's actually some. I think was it an acquisition? There's some video people that ended up in Shure.
Yeah, it wasn't really an acquisition. I don't believe so. I believe they actually built the team out because this team goes back. Actually, this might surprise a lot of people. A long way. There's 2 different teams within the engineering side of Shure that have been at the company for years, building out possible solutions, exploring opportunities, designing the software that is now in use. It's been a long time coming, but these teams have been embedded and working and kind of built up over time for a good number of years now. And I think that surprises some people, right? Because I think a lot of people thought, oh, it's another bar. Where did you get it from? And put the Shure logo on it. And that's not actually what happened. There's actually teams at the company that have been there for years now, building it out, designing something completely new, and designing the software behind the scenes that does all the intelligent switching and capabilities there. So I'm glad you called that out, because that's kind of one of those little known facts. People don't think about it as often, but it does speak to the level of engineering that goes into a solution like that. It's when you actually have teams sitting on board doing the work, it's not a Me Too moment, right? It's not I slapped a logo on there. It's, oh, you built something very purposefully. So that there are teams on board, they are doing that. And of course, as with any partner in this space, innovation continues. So those teams are hard at work doing cool things still.
What's the chat? As you say, Josh, they're now on the Microsoft site, certified devices. So 2 devices listed there. Sorry, Tom.
I was just going to say, what's the shipping timeline? We had a couple in London for the user group, but have we got timelines for getting the 500 Chris wants into his hands?
We'd love to make that happen for you right away, Chris. Betas are out, right? Like you said, there's some floating out there right now in beta that our tires are being kicked and demoed, etc. But yeah, it's middle of the year time frame, sometime toward the end of Q2 probably, but no date. We all know this game, right? There's no actual date to stamp on it, but we're targeting the middle of the year to start shipping. I'm hoping that by the time InfoComm rolls around, we'll have some kind of announcement around then to get more specific and dialed in. But that's the time frame we're looking at. It is in beta now, so
it should be out before the next savings time change.
Yes, that is a correct assessment. Should be being the key word there. Yeah. So that's what we're looking at time wise. And yeah, as you called out on the chat there, Graham, there's the 2 devices, right? You've got the touch panel and the bar. They ship together. They're not separately shipping at this stage. So the 2 are part of one system, both running MDEP on board.
So just to clarify, Microsoft certify bars with controllers as bundles. As Josh says, you can't take that Shure controller and put it with a Poly device. They're certified together as bundles. So Shure and Shure, Poly and Poly, Neat and Neat, etc. It's not a universal touch controller like they have for Windows boards.
Right. And to that point, to that certification process, right, where you have a purposely paired couple of devices, that carries over to the extensibility story, which is why, at shipping, we expect to see that MXA 902 as part of the extensibility story. But you have to certify things in a different way on the Android side than you do on the Windows side. So that's why it's like, okay, could I go and take some other device and plug it in at the time of shipping? Sure, you could. Is it going to be listed on the site as a certified solution? Well, no, right? So that's where it gets a little bit tricky when it comes to what's a fully certified solution and extending or swapping out devices. You got to be, if you're trying to make sure you've got a thumbs up, fully certified solution sitting in front of you, you gotta verify that against what's published out online. The joys of the certification world.
It's wonderful.
Awesome.
Any questions?
Well, thanks. Yeah, so if anybody wants to throw any questions in, it'd be about the other bundle, the Windows bundle that Shure have as well. Josh, I don't know if you want to mention that briefly. You've got Windows and Android in the house now.
Exactly. Yeah, both sides in there. Last year, right? It was last year that before I was at the company actually, where they made the announcement on the IntelliMix room kits, which is the Windows-based side of it. and that's kind of, it's a room kit for every room size. It's depending on which size you're in, that you have a different Huddley solution in there for your camera, and then you just have either one or two of the MXA 902s for your audio, depending on room size. But that's the Windows side of it. So.
And on the Windows side, if I understand correctly, you and I don't know the terminology, but you baked in the like DSP management software or whatever, so it's all in one.
Yeah.
So you don't have to have multiple machines or whatever, or computers controlling a room. It's all that one compute module.
Exactly. That's
controlling the audio. Yeah.
It's a Windows box, as you'd expect, with running. It's got the onboard IntelliMix processing software for DSP capabilities, et cetera. And it's also
say that
got
so much more intelligently than me by saying just the magic software that controls things. IntelliMix.
You say it the way software. I like to think about it, though. That's the thing. It's the magic. It's got the Huddley software on board as well, right? So that you don't have to do any extra configuration or messing around on that end. It's plug in the Huddley camera, whatever it happens to be, and you're off to the races. Which I think is probably the case for any kind of partner solutions that involve Huddley cameras on the Windows side.
Awesome. Oh, Josh, thanks for that. It's
thank you very much.
Get a bit more detail. We'll be wrapping that little piece up to see if it adds value to people beyond the MTD AMA. And if anybody has any further questions, Josh is super active in the community and at events and stuff, so feel free to bring them in this chat, or I'm sure he won't mind you direct.
Y'all know where to find me. Thanks for having me on. This is awesome. I appreciate it. Always fun being heckled a little bit and being able to answer questions. Thanks, guys.